Hi, my name is Jane. My husband and I had an arranged marriage. Concerned about me, who had never had a boyfriend until 28 years old, my father suggested an arranged marriage. I knew that he was really worried about me, but the potential groom was the son of my father's boss. Being timid, I couldn't say no. I wasn't really interested in the man, but when I met him, he wasn't as bad as I'd expected. He was tall and slender with long slitted eyes and a sharp nose. He was 3 years younger than me, but seemed strong for his age, so it was hard to imagine that he was struggling to find a marriage partner. With a feeling of he's quiet, but maybe that's better than someone who talks too much, I agreed to the marriage. However, after getting married, I realized something. He wasn't just quiet, he was extremely silent. He only talked about the bare minimum, like work hours and whether or not he was going to eat. He probably didn't have any romantic feelings for me. Even after getting married, he didn't really care about who I was hanging out with or where I was going. But he seemed to want a child no matter what. 1 year after we got married, I gave birth to our first daughter, Sophia. Until then, I hadn't had much conversation with my husband. But after Sophia was born, he started to talk a lot more. He was surprisingly devoted father to Sophia and took good care of her. Seeing him like that, I began to think, he's really a kind person. He just can't express his feelings very well. I also started to feel love for him. We weren't the picture-perfect family, but in our own way, we were happy. However, when Sophia turned 10 years old, our everyday life suddenly came to an end. Just as I thought. This fits Sophia perfectly. I bought pajamas for Sophia at the department while she was at school.
Wow, it's cute. I think I'll sleep well in those pajamas. Thanks, Mom.
Sophia, wearing a yellow plaid one-piece pajamas, twirled around. I'm glad you liked it. Now, good night.
Good night.
I turned off the light in Sophia's room and left. And then, I went to the living room to take a rest on the sofa. However, unusually, my husband was sitting on the sofa, who usually locks himself in his study right after Sophia goes to bed. Then he suddenly brought up a shocking topic.
Let's get divorced,
he said. What? What's this all of a sudden? Of course, my husband was not the type to joke about such things. But I had a hunch.
You can't have children, can you?
The words he spat out pierced my heart deeply. Indeed, a few years after giving birth to Sophia, I suffered from a gynecologic disorder. As a result, it became difficult for me to have children. I tried to get pregnant several times, but it didn't work. My husband had always wanted his son and heir even before our marriage. However, he had not mentioned it for years, and I thought he had given up on having a son. But you once said your younger brother's son could be the heir. I want to raise Sophia with both of her parents. I expressed my feelings, but he didn't understand. On the contrary, he said something more unbelievable.
Don't worry about Sophia. She'll be properly raised by her new mother.
A new mother? What do you mean? That was all I could said to him, with my mind went blank.
A woman who is able to become pregnant will become Sophia's new mother, and she will bear my heir and take care of the children. There's nothing left for you to do,
he said to me. giving me an unbelievably cold stare, not smiling at all. I had been under the illusion that he loved our family. I had cherished the warm moments with my husband and Sophia. But he never loved me. Not even once. I finally realized that. What was the time I spent up until now for? From now on, only Sophia. Sophia was my only treasure. I couldn't imagine letting Sophia go, who I had lovingly raised, even if I couldn't maintain the form of our family. Besides, I could never think of entrusting Sophia to a husband who could look so cruel. Stop being selfish. If you want a divorce that badly, I'll accept it. But don't you dare decide about Sophia. I'll take her. Losing the peaceful daily life, which I thought to last long, I was shaking. But the only thing I couldn't compromise on was Sophia. Yet, my husband wasn't surprised at all.
I thought you would say that. You've always loved Sophia so much.
What do you mean? She's my daughter. Of course I did. I couldn't accept the way my husband spoke, as if Sophia was only his daughter.
But my claim that I want to divorce you because you can't have children is legitimate. There is a clear income difference between you, a house Jane, and me. And I have never been abusive, nor have I cheated or had an affair. I have no faults, even if I were to go to court. Can you really win custody?
My husband looked down at me and said those words. I certainly couldn't compete with my husband in terms of economic power, but I've been with Sophia much longer. I've tried to understand her. I love Sophia more than you do. I managed to say that much confidently.
Well, you should say that in court then. No one else can measure the weight of a Sophia's affection. I can provide Sophia with education, find her a good marriage partner, and help her find a path to happiness. I think Sophia would also be happy to have an outstanding little brother.
How come you could decide Sophia's future just by yourself? Sophia would decide what she will do in the future by herself. I can't entrust Sophia to someone who says such things. Give me a break. I raised my voice in anger. My husband had been pretending to be calm all along, but he also raised his voice.
You can't even give birth or make money. You're useless. Don't answer me back.
I was unable to reply, and my tears flowed uncontrollably.
Damn it. Women think they can solve everything by crying. That's what I've always hated about you. Can you stop being so annoying? Anyway, we're getting divorced, and I'm taking Sophia. I think it's impossible for you to stop that, but if you interfere, your father might lose his job too.
My husband said such unbelievable things. There were times when I felt anxious, thinking that I was no longer functioning as a woman because I couldn't get pregnant. Because of Sophia, whom I gave birth at pains, showed me her healthy figure up close. I was able to think that it was okay to be myself. Though it was an arranged marriage, thanks to Sophia, I was able to think that it was good to have married my husband. I thought I liked this family. There were certainly moments like that. This man has always looked at me with a fake smile. I can't have hope for the past I've walked or the future that will come. How should I stand up? I collapsed and sat on the floor, staring at my knees and thinking nothing but that. At that moment,
Sophia, can't you sleep?
My husband asked her with warm voice. Seemed like his cruel voice from our conversation we just had was a lie. Sophia. When I raised my eyes, Sophia, whom I was supposed to have put to bed earlier, was standing at the entrance of the living room. Sophia was making a very sad face, looking at us. "Did you hear everything?" She would feel scared of seeing their parents arguing. "I'm sorry to make you scared." Sophia, as I was about to say that, Sophia spoke first.
I will go with Dad. I don't need Mom.
She said that with a face that seemed about to cry. Sophia. I couldn't believe what Sophia had just said. Was the way I loved Sophia unnecessary for her? Was what I've been doing for Sophia bothering her? The time I spent with Sophia and the smiles she showed me were crumbling inside me with a loud noise.
Well, I see. I'll do as Sophia says. It's late today. Let's go to bed.
My husband cheerfully said that and took Sophia to her room. Sophia was pushed from behind by her husband and looked back at us. She had a very sad expression on her face. "What do you mean with your eyes? What are you feeling right now? Do you hate me? Why did you say you don't need me? I love you more than anyone else in the world." I broke down crying right there. There was no doubt about loving Sophia more than anything else in the world. But after that day, I became too scared to know about Sophia's feelings, unable to ask her anything. We ended up getting a divorce 2 months after this day. Sophia said she wanted to go with her father. So, I didn't feel like forcing her to stay with me, and I gave the custody of Sophia to my husband.
Mom, see you?
Sophia said to me, when my husband and she left the apartment where we had lived for over 10 years. Since that night, Sophia never cried, and even now, she said goodbye to me with confidence. "All right, take care of yourself." I had so many things I wanted to tell her, but I didn't know what to say. "Sophia, if something bothers you, you should say no."
Okay.
Just as I was about to say, "Sophia, I love you."
Thank you.
Sophia said that and got into the car where her father was waiting. I watched the car until I couldn't see it anymore. Tears were overflowing from my eyes and wouldn't stop. On our divorce, we made a promise that I wouldn't see Sophia for 5 years. The agreement was made that he wouldn't demand consolation or child support money, and he would hand over the apartment to me. In return, he made me promise not to see Sophia for 5 years after the divorce for the sake of Sophia's mental stability. The next time I see Sophia, she'll be 15. "Sophia, I really wanted to watch you grow up close." After that, I looked for a job. Using my previous experience and qualifications, I began working as a nursery school teacher. I was reminded of Sophia every time I saw the children, and sometimes it made me sad. But gradually, I got used to that life. Rather, it might be more accurate to say that I was able to avoid thinking about the harsh reality by immersing myself in work. However, there wasn't a single day that I forgot about Sophia. About a year passed since I saw Sophia last. Today is Sophia's 11th birthday. I wonder how much taller Sophia has grown. Has Sophia made new friends? As I was pondering such things, I bought a whole cake, even though I was the only one eating, and returned home. Then, there was a letter in my mailbox, with a pale yellow envelope. There was no sender's name, but I recognized it immediately. That's Sophia's handwriting. Hard to believe, though. I was sure it was my daughter's handwriting. Familiar but not seen in a while. When I opened it, it was indeed a letter from Sophia.
Dear Mom, long time no see. How are you? Sophia is fine. I've made friends at the new school, and I'm having fun every day. Dad is annoying about studying, but if I do it well, he praises me a lot. I wrote a letter today because I have something to tell you. Sophia loves you a lot. I'm sorry for saying I don't need you. I never really thought that. You were always kind, and you cared a lot about Sophia. Dad said a lot of mean things, and you were crying, so I wanted to protect you. But I didn't know how. I said those things just because I wanted to please Dad. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry. I wrote this letter because I've always wanted to apologize to you. I really didn't want to be away from you. But I believe that if I live in peace, I can see you again, thinking that you are under the same sky as me. I can do my best. When I turn 15, I will definitely come to see you. So wait for me. To my beloved Mom, from Sophia.
Reading this letter, I couldn't stop my tears. Sophia believed in me. My feelings reached Sophia properly. Thank you. Thank you, Sophia. I really want to hold Sophia in my arms right now. I can't do that yet, but the existence of my only daughter kept illuminating and supporting my heart warmly, even when we were apart. 4 years later, today is Sophia's 15th birthday. The doorbell rang, and I rushed to unlock the front door.
Mom,
There was a girl in a uniform standing there. Sophia. The last time I saw her, she was only about as tall as my shoulder, but now she has grown like as tall as me.
I'm home.
Sophia's smile was still the same as it had been. Welcome home. I couldn't hold back my tears and gave Sophia a hard hug. I've wanted to see you for so long, Sophia. Thank you. I love you. This time, I was able to convey the words I couldn't say back then.
Me too, Mom.
After that, I invited Sophia into the house, and she told me about the last 5 years. My ex-husband remarried, and they were blessed with a little brother. But he was still kind to Sophia. Sophia had decided on her own path, and had been able to convince my ex-husband to do so. Sophia was living in the same city, so she could come and see me anytime. She also told me about her school, her boyfriend, and various other things. And when she asked how I was doing, I talked about the daycare where I work.
When we were living together, you didn't work, Mom. It's refreshing for me.
That's true. Back then, I was always at home, and home was my world. The only light of hope in that world was Sophia.
Mom, you look so vibrant now. I loved you before, but now you look even more wonderful.
Sophia's eyes were sparkling as she said that. Thank you, Sophia. You've become a wonderful girl. I'm so surprised. Perhaps Sophia didn't just save me from my ex-husband, but also from the small cage that was our home. A world without Sophia felt like there was a hole in my heart. I was in despair, but it's certain that she broadened my perspective. I have a desire to live with Sophia again. Even if my wish cannot be fulfilled, Sophia and I are still a mother and a daughter. Right now, Sophia has a new happiness. But if we can have moments like this again, we will continue to be connected.
All right. I'm going home today. I'll come again on Saturday.
Saturday? The day after tomorrow, right?
Yo, I want to eat your homemade cookies again.
Got it. I'll bake them.
Yeah.
Sophia and I will start our days in a new form. I'm sure there's going to be a shining and sparkling future waiting for us.